Hello, future policy shapers, economic wizards, and perhaps the next industrial titans of India. Welcome to Industrial Development, a saga of India's economic evolution. Today, we are not just going through a presentation, we are embarking on a journey through time, a roller coaster ride of policies, reforms, and the relentless pursuit of progress. Think of it like interstellar, but instead of black holes, we are navigating the complexities of industrial growth. And trust me, some of these policies felt like they were designed in a different dimension. It's not just about chimneys and factories, it's about policies, reforms, disinvestments, and dream. Like before we dive into the nitty gritty, a quick public service announcement. If you find this session as captivating as a movie, or if you just want more of this riveting content, you know where to go. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Telegram group. Because let's be honest, who doesn't want to be a part of a community that discusses industrial policy for fun? It's like the secret society of economic enthusiasts, minus the secret handshakes for now. This ain't your boring textbook ride. This is a cinematic journey from the 1948 Industrial Policy Part 1 to 1991 Liberalization, the sequel, all the way to 2025's Disinvestment reality show. Sit tight, popcorn is very optional, but focus is very mandatory. Alright, let's set the stage. Our schedule today is packed, but trust me, it's worth it. We are starting with the very foundation of India's industrial journey. India's industrial policy, much like a seasoned politician, has undergone significant transformations since independence. It's reflected the evolving economic philosophy and development priorities of our nation. From Nehruvian socialism to the liberalized economy of today, it's been fascinating, sometimes frustrating evolution. If you thought Game of Thrones had complex power shifts, wait till you see the shifts in our industrial policy. Post independence, India was like Rajinikanth in Shivaji the Boss, fighting against the system, dreaming big, and somehow believing we could industrialize overnight. But the spoiler is, we didn't. Instead, we got what economists call a mixed economy, which is just a fancy way of saying half baked socialism meets confused capitalism. So let's get into it. Our story begins in 1948. Okay? Just after independence. Like, picture this, a young nation fresh out of colonial route trying to find its footing. The Industrial Policy Resolution of 1948 was our first blueprint announced on April 6th. This policy laid the foundation for what we call a mixed economy model. Think of it as India's first attempt at a choose your own adventure book, but with government holding most of the good choices. It's like public sector was the lead actor, but private sector just doing the supporting role. Actually, there were different types of schedules given. Industries were classified into three schedules here, where Schedule A was completely with the state. Schedule B was bought with state control under state control with private participation. And Schedule C, which was regulated private sector. Anyhow, it was heavily regulated by government, so let it be as same as well. Fast forwarding to 1956. This is where things get really interesting, or depending on your perspective, really restrictive. The IPR 1956 is often called the Economic Constitution of India, or even the Bible of state capitalism. If 1948 was a mixed economy, 1956 was like the government saying, hold my chai, we are going full socialist pattern of society. This policy was heavily influenced by the Mahalanobis model, focusing on heavy industries in particular. Okay. Then came the Janata government in 1977. After the emergency, there was a shift, a desire for decentralization. The industrial policy of 1977 emphasized small and cottage industries. It was like sudden realization, hey, maybe the little guys can also do something. They sought to curb the dominance of large industrial houses and multinational corporations. Like Janata Party says, big players out, Chotu industries in. And then again, Indira Gandhi returned in 1980, and with her the industrial policy statement of 1980 came. This one aimed at promoting modernization and technological upgradation. It was a cautious step towards liberalization which brought a tiny crack in the license Raj wall. Think of it as the first hint of sequel where the hero starts to realize the old ways aren't working. Now brace yourself because this is the turning point. This is India's Avengers Endgame moment in economic history. The new industrial policy of 1991, which introduced against the backdrop of balance of payment, a severe balance of payment crisis. We were literally running out of money like a character in a spy movie with 5 minutes to disarm a bomb. This policy marked a paradigm shift from a state-controlled, inward-looking economy to a more liberalized, market-oriented one. If it was the cornerstone of LPG reforms, if you ever wondered when India truly opened its doors to the world, this was it. Like it was the bulk of all reforms, where the economy was crying, forex reserves were like surely is what a scene, and then came Manmohan Singh, our economic Thalaivar, who brought in the LPG reforms and made it happen. Now, what are the key features? Delicensing of industries. Like they abolished industrial licensing for almost all industries. Imagine the shock waves. From 18 reserved industries, it was eventually reduced to just 5. And today, only atomic energy, railways, and specified defense items are remain reserved for the public sector. The license Raj finally met its Waterloo. De-reservation of industries. The number of industries exclusively for the public sector was drastically cut from 17 to 8. Yeah, even today, as we discussed in the previous point, only atomic energy and specific operations are exclusive for the public sector. The government was finally saying, okay, maybe we don't need to run everything. Reduced public sector role and disinvestment. The policy aimed to reduce the dominance of the public sector, which led to disinvestment, selling of parts of government equity in PSUs. 6 PSUs were even referred to BIFR for revival or closure. It was like a corporate restructuring but on a national scale. Next came the foreign investment liberalization. Like foreign direct investments were allowed up to 51% in high priority industries, which later increased to 100% in many sectors through automatic route. Suddenly, foreign capital was not a suspicious stranger, it was a welcome guest with a fat wallet. Next is import liberalization. Reduction in customs duty and removal of quantity restriction on imports. This exposed domestic industries to international competition and facilitated access to the modern technology. Suddenly, Indian industries had to compete with the West or perish. It was sink or swim movement, and thankfully most learned to swim. So what are the impacts of the industrial policy changes? Industrial growth. The national new industrial policy unleashed the entrepreneurial spirit in the private sector, leading to increased investment and higher growth rates, especially in manufacturing. We saw diversification, new industries emerging, and significant growth in sectors like automobiles, electronics, pharmaceuticals, and IT enabled services. It was like a dormant volcano suddenly erupting with economic activity. That's what industrial growth was about. Coming up with competitiveness, de-licensing and import liberalization led to intense domestic and international competition. This forced the Indian industries to improve efficiency, quality, and technology. Access to foreign technology and FDI facilitated modernization. Indian industries became more integrated into global supply chains, and we went from being a closed off village to a bustling global market. Foreign investment. There was a surge in FDI. India became an attractive destination, bringing in capital, technology, managerial expertise, everything. Multinational corporations flocked in, leading to greater choice for consumers and increased competition for domestic players. And yes, it also contributed to job creation. It was like the world suddenly discovered India was open for business and everyone wanted a piece of pie. Now let's talk about disinvestment. This isn't glamorous as liberalization, but it's crucial. Disinvestment refers to sale or liquidation of assets by the government, usually central and state public sector enterprises. Think of it as the government selling off its old furniture to buy new, more efficient funds, or sometimes just to pay the bills. This is where the government starts treating PSUs like that ex toxic. Uh, you are not working out. I need space and money, so get out. There are two types. Minority stake sale. The government sells a portion of its shareholding, which is less than the 50%, but retains management control. That's minority stake sale. It's like selling a few shares of your company but still being the CEO. The objective is to raise non-debt resources and broaden public participation. You can call minority stake sale as it's like ghosting halfway. Example we can bring in is IPO of LIC is a good example for minority stake sale. Next one comes strategic disinvestment. Involves a sale of substantial portion. Well, like this is the big one actually. Involves a selling of substantial portion, which is often 50% or more, along with transfer of management control to private strategic partner. This effectively leads to privatization. The objective is to privatize inefficient or non-core PSUs, bring in private sector efficiency and generate significant revenue. That is what strategic disinvestment does. We can call a full-blown mission impossible, which is exit protocol. Like a recent thing which we did look into was Air India, where strategic disinvestment was done. Coming on with next is the current disinvestment policies. The Department of Investment and Public Asset Management under the Ministry of Finance is the nodal agency for all matters relating to central government equity in central public sector enterprises. First one is policy focus. The current policy emphasizes strategic disinvestment alongside minority stake sales. The government aims to retain a minimal presence in strategic sectors and exit from non-strategic sectors. It's like basically we'll keep what's essential and sell off what's not our core business. That's the policy focus. Identification of CPSE Central Public Sector Enterprises. Niti Ayog identifies that part, so that's it. Streamlined process. Efforts are on to streamline the process, including faster approvals, clearer guidance, and greater transparency. Because nobody wants a process as slow as a sloth on treadmill. National Investment Fund. All disinvestment proceeds are channelized to the National Investment Fund, a public account of India which was established in 2005. Initially, these funds were meant for social sector schemes and capital expenditure. But later on, the rules were modified to allow them to be used for general government expenditure, including bridging the fiscal deficit. This has been a subject of debate. Like, should we use our family silver for long-term investments or pay the immediate bills? It's the eternal dilemma of every household, just on the national scale. Now, Indian industry is like that character in every action film who starts off strong, then gets shot in the leg by infrastructure, stabbed by regulation, left behind in the dust of services sector, running like Usain Bolt in Fast and Furious 9. So now let's look at the current pulse of India's industrial sector, comprising manufacturing, mining, electricity, gas, water supply, and other utility service. It has shown varied growth trends. Contribution to the GDP. The industrial sector's share in India's GVA has hovered around 25 to 28% in recent years. Within this, manufacturing is the largest component, typically contributing around 15 to 18% to the gross value added. Growth trajectory. Post 1991, we saw a significant acceleration, but then came the global financial crisis of 2008 and 9, which slowed things down. In recent years, growth has been moderate, facing challenges. However, there have been periods of strong performance where manufacturing recorded a robust 13.9 growth. So it's a mixed bag, like a box of assorted chocolates, some sweet and some a bit bitter. Yes. Now let's look into prelims PYQ. Alright, aspirants, time for a quick check-in. This is for prelims PYQ from 2015. In the index of 8 core industries, which one of the following is given the highest weight? Coal production, electricity generation, fertilization production, and steel production. Take your time, just to understand the concept, or just try to figure it out. The answer, my friends, is B, electricity production. Although if you look at the notes which you will be provided, refinery products actually have the highest percentage, is 28.04%, followed by electricity, which is 98.5%. So in this specific question, among the given option, electricity generation is indeed the correct answer. It's a classic UPSC trick, knowing the highest among the options, not necessarily the absolute highest. Always read the fine print, just like in a superhero movie contract. Now let's talk about the villains in our industrial development story that challenges or that prevent us from reaching our full potential. Infrastructure deficit, insufficient power, logistics, roads, ports. This increases costs and reduces competitiveness. Imagine trying to run a marathon with ankle weights. That's our industries without proper infrastructure. It's like Hogwarts, magical in theory but invisible in reality. Next one is ease of doing business. Despite improvements, challenges still persist in land acquisition, environmental clearance, and contract enforcement. It's like having a great idea for business, but then spending years just getting permission to build a factory. Coming on with labor laws. Rigid labor laws are often cited as a deterrent to a large scale manufacturing and employment generation. It's like trying to dance the tango with one foot tied to a chair, as complicated as tenet without the satisfying payoff. Access to finance, especially for MSMEs, access to timely and affordable credit remains an issue. Many small businesses like aspiring artists without a patron full of talent but lacking the funds to create. MSMEs apply for a loan and get ghosted harder than a horror movie. Next one is skill gap. A significant mismatch between industry demands and the available skilled labor. Reports suggest only 42.6% of Indian graduates are employable. It's like having a massive army, but half of them don't even know how to use a sword. That's what India's challenge to industrial growth is. Now, what are the opportunities for the industrial growth? Large domestic market. India's huge and growing domestic consumer market provides a strong base for manufacturing. We have over a billion consumers. That's ready-made audience for any product. It's like an end game level audience. Next comes demographic dividend. A young and large workforce offers potential for competitive labor force. We have the youngest population in the world, a massive pool of potential talent waiting to be unleashed. It's like having a massive untapped energy source. They are our own X-Men, lots of talent but just no training. Government initiatives, schemes like Make in India, PLI schemes, Gati Shakti aim to boost manufacturing. These are the government's strategic moves, like a chess master planning several moves ahead. Global supply chain diversification. Geopolitical shifts and China plus one strategy offers opportunities for India to emerge as an alternative manufacturing hub. The world is looking for alternatives and India is ready to step up like a reliable understudy, finally getting their chance on the big stage. India, this is your cue. But sadly, India often enters the scene like Vadivel in an action film, actor Vadivel in an action film. Too late, too confused, and carrying the wrong prop at all times. Next comes digital transformation. Increased digitalization and adoption of Industry 4.0 technologies can enhance the productivity and efficiency. We are embracing the future at one bite at a time. Now let's look in some flagship government initiatives. Let's talk about our flagship programs. Okay, the Avengers of our industrial policy. First up is Make in India. Okay, it was launched with Bahubali level hype. Okay, not that, but Basha level hype, but promises 100 million jobs, 25% of GDP share. Reality, still looking for those jobs like Leonardo DiCaprio looking for an Oscar in 2015. But hey, thanks to our PLI, India is now making more phones than excuses. Coming on with next, we have to look at the objectives. To increase manufacturing contributions to GDP to 25% by 2025. It was actually set up to 22, which was revised to 2025. But hey, even superheroes miss deadlines sometimes, so we cannot do that. To create 100 million additional manufacturing jobs, to facilitate investment, foster innovation, enhance skill development, and build the best-in-class infrastructure, and to reduce the dependence on imports and boost exports. It's like new process, new infrastructure, new sectors, and new mindset. It's a holistic approach like building a multi-story skyscraper. You need strong foundation, modern design, and the right people. Another one is Startup India. Like this was the youth version of the industrial development. Basically, the Spider-Man homecoming of government schemes, awkward, full of potential, and occasionally causing explosions. Unicorns everywhere, but for every Zoho, there are 500 apps that crash after login. That's called natural selection in capitalism. Launched in 2016, this initiative aims to develop a robust startup ecosystem and foster innovation and entrepreneurship. Think of it as India's version of Shark Tank but with government support. Its objectives were to simplify compliance and regulation for startups because who wants to spend their innovative energy on paperwork? I don't like it. To provide funding and incentives, to promote industry, academia, partnerships and incubations, to create a job creator rather than a job seeker mindset. This is very crucial. You want more Tony Starks building companies, not just looking for jobs at Stark Industries. So, yes, guys, we are almost to the end. So, what we have learned, the India's industrial journey is like a Hollywood movie or Bollywood movie with 7 plot lines, 3 item songs, and a twist ending. We started as a socialist dream, flirted with liberalization, ghosted the public sector, and we are now chasing the like Tom Cruise chases planes in Mission Impossible. The climax is yet to be written. And that brings us to the end of industrial development, a journey filled with policies, paradoxes, and painful PSUs. If you made it this far, congratulations, your patience is officially greater than India's disinvestment speed. But remember, UPSC is not about just reading facts. It's about understanding why the government acts like Rajinikanth in a mass entry scene one moment and like Vadivellu in the board meeting the next. So stay curious, stay sarcastic, stay serious when needed, and most importantly, keep learning through the Thalaivar way. Because in this channel, we don't just explain economy, we punch it, spin it, and serve in style. If you like the lecture, hit that like button harder than the 1991 hit that license stars. Subscribe for more UPSC lectures served with swag and join our Telegram for notes before even your coaching center gets them. Until next time, this is Learning Through Thalaivar Way, signing off with style, sarcasm, and a sprinkle of GDP.